Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. Well, this is Michelle Parker. She went missing now 13 years ago, actually yesterday, November 17th, 2011.
Video and a new emotional plea in the disappearance of missing mom Michelle Parker. Hours after her disappearance, this is Parker's Hummer stopped at a red light near the apartment complex where it was later located. WESH 2's Bob Keeling joins us from Orlando Police Headquarters with more. And Bob, this all comes a day after the second anniversary of Parker's disappearance.
Yeah, Jim, and if you look at this OPD video that they released today, they've had it ever since she disappeared, but they wanted to put it out there in hopes of getting more leads. Clearly, Michelle Parker's Hummer has already been altered, so it's not recognizable, at least not as easily. The lead detective in the case now saying he believes two people were involved in this disappearance. Michelle Parker, the mother of three children, disappeared 2 years ago last evening. This is newly released video of her Hummer pulling up to a red light at Conroy and Vineland Road that very night, but missing this distinctive sticker on the back advertising Michelle's airbrushing business called Glow.
The car is not following anybody. No one is following the car.
The video was taken around 4 hours after Parker sent out a text message that she was dropping off her twins at their father's home. The man police say is still their only named suspect, Dale Smith. Searchers later found Parker's phone in Lake Conway, roughly halfway between Smith's house and the apartment complex 3/4 of a mile from this intersection where Parker's Hummer was later found parked.
I firmly believe, after investigating this case for 2 years, that the perpetrator of this crime did not act alone. This was a two-person situation.
Here's my question to you, Tammy Smith.
Parker's mother, Yvonne Stewart, made an emotional plea to Dale Smith's mother, Tammy Smith.
I'm not asking you to do anything except tell me where Michelle is. Please call Crimeline, because you know where your children are, Tammy, and we don't know where ours is.
Tammy Smith's attorney tells WESH 2 that she is not hiding anything. Meanwhile, Dale Smith has consistently said that he had no involvement in Michelle Parker's disappearance.
Yeah. Dale has claimed and continues to claim that he has nothing to do with his ex-fiance's disappearance. However, I firmly believe he is involved, and again, he's probably did it with a friend. So it's very sad, and Michelle's mom and the rest of her family break my heart every year. Now for 13 years, they've pleaded on the news, online. They just want answers. They want closure in their daughter's disappearance, and they deserve that. They completely deserve that. Now, looking back at the timeline a bit on the case, again, this happened on November 17th, 2011. Michelle Parker and her boyfriend at that time, Nathan, had coffee together, and that day at 2 p.m. was the airing of the episode of The People's Court, which is why this also became such a big deal, because this aired, The People's Court they previously recorded, aired the same day that she disappeared. Very, very suspicious, in my opinion. So she had gone on the show with her ex-fiancé, Dale Smith. They were fighting over a $5,000 engagement ring that was lost after Michelle Parker threw it at Dale in a fit of anger during the program, which had been previously taped back in August. Michelle alleged that Dale had a drug and alcohol problem and had been violent in her past. She stated on the show that he gets pretty malicious and vindictive. After hearing both sides, the judge ruled that the couple should split the cost of the ring and ordered Parker to pay $2,500 for her half. And per her mother, which is her mom's name is Yvonne Stewart, Michelle regretted taping the show. Her mom stated it was the most humiliating experience of my life. She told her mom that. That was Michelle's quote. And she said she never wanted to see it, and she wished she never had done the show. And then 2:30 that day, November 17th, Michelle visited with family members at her mom's salon, which is located in Oviedo, Florida. 3:15, Mitchell and Parker exchanged flirty text messages. That would be her current boyfriend at the time, Nathan Mitchell. 3:18 p.m., a security camera records Michelle Parker dropping off her twin 3-year-olds at Dale Smith's condo, which was located on Goldenrod Road. Due to the angle of that camera, her departure time was not recorded, unfortunately. Then we jump to 3:30. Parker's 11-year-old son arrived home from school. Shortly thereafter, he called his grandmother, Stewart, and notified her that his mom was not home. 4:26 p.m., Parker's brother, Dustin Erickson, sent her a text message and asked her where she was. Moments later, he received a reply back with the single word, Waterford, a possible reference to a nearby area, which those that are local like myself, that might mean Waterford Lakes area, although that's a pretty odd one single word response. 4:30, a few minutes later, according to Dale Smith's attorney, his client went to visit his parents with the children, the twins. And then 6:53 p.m., Parker's sister was unsuccessful in her attempts to reach Michelle by phone. 7:20 p.m., Parker's sister reported her missing to law enforcement. 8 p.m. is when Parker failed to show up for her job at the Barn restaurant located in Sanford, Florida. At about the same time, her cell phone stopped transmitting a single signal to a tower near Belle Isle. So that is everything that happened on November 17th. Then we jump to the next day. Parker's 2008 black Hummer H3 was found in a parking lot on the west side of Orlando. Decals for Parker's mobile tanning business had been removed from the windows. So that glow on the back, completely gone, which made that vehicle very distinctive. Police conducted a search of Dale Smith's condominium. What, if anything, of interest was found is not really known. Parker's mom told the news, WFTV, that she believed her daughter was the victim of a random crime, possibly a carjacking. And she made a statement with the media: if anybody has her and you're holding her hostage, please let her go. Yvonne Stewart told the news station, let her come home so she can raise her babies. I think she was being optimistic, believing it was a random act of violence or an act of, a random crime. I think I agree with law enforcement. I believe her ex Dale is involved. That is my opinion on it. And again, I think he was involved with at least one friend or someone he knows to help him pull this off. There was another piece of video that was later released showing Michelle picking up food at a fast food drive-in.
Straight out to Gene Casares on the story from the very beginning. Gene, this grainy surveillance video emerges and we learn a lot from it. We learn, number one, she's alone. Number two, what she's wearing at the time she disappears. And number three, very clearly, I can see as her car goes by the video camera, The advertisement, the huge advertisement for her mobile tanning salon is still there. Take a look as the car goes by. You see the words glow written very, very plainly. But when her black Hummer was found, the car was empty and had been defaced. Somebody knew that very identifiable decal would be important. Jean, what more do we know tonight?
Nancy, and that is what makes this so critical, because this surveillance video shows us that the glow insignia was intentionally taken off, not by Michelle, but by someone who didn't want it known that it was her vehicle, and that was her business right there. You know, Nancy, we are also learning that her iPhone was found. Her cops are not saying where it was found, but it was found. More searches are being done in retention ponds that are close to where her fiance lives, the prime suspect, his parents live, and also close to where he worked in cabinetry.
So the fact that the glow advertisement from the side, and I assume she had one on each side of the Hummer, as well as the back window, I believe it's someone who knew her. Because why else would they remove that? It was very, very, as Nancy said, that's very identifiable to Michelle Parker. And this is another reason, besides the fact that Dale was the last one to see her after she dropped off her kids, and her vehicle was found between his home and hers. Again, this is another reason why I believe that Dale Smith is definitely still, to this day, a suspect.
It's a nightmare the Parker family can't seem to wake up from, now 5 years long.
I answer my phone every day, and I'm waiting for that one phone call to say they found Michelle.
Her dad, that breaks my heart. All this family wants is answers. This is now 5 years. Then it becomes 10 years, now 13 years, that this father has wondered when his phone rings if that's an answer that they found Michelle.
Disappeared November 17th, 2011, the same day she and ex-fiancé Dale Smith appeared on a taped episode of People's Court. Since then, no sign of her body and no closure for her family.
Have you been active in the search for Michelle?
This is video of Smith going into a deposition in May after Parker's mother filed a civil lawsuit accusing him in her daughter's death. He's considered the only suspect in the case, but was never criminally charged.
He answered some of the questions what I heard. He pleaded to the fifth.
A second nightmare for the family. Michelle's parents are still fighting for visitation rights of her two young children, an issue her father says was supposed to be resolved by last summer.
Ask your dad. Where's mommy? What's he telling those kids? That's my main concern. What's he telling those kids?
I agree with Dad here, Michelle's dad. What has he told? And this is 5 years again. This was 5 years, this particular news piece. What was he telling those kids? Scary, isn't it? And the fact that he pled the fifth and was so standoffish and hiding behind his lawyer, more suspicious behavior from Dale Smith.
That 10-year mark, we didn't want to reach that. We didn't want to reach anyone. But when you've hit double digits, you're really rolling.
10 years have passed since Orange County mother Michelle Parker went missing. But to her family, each day has felt like a lifetime.
Just because another day has passed to them and it seems like old news, it's not old news to this family.
Michelle was last seen dropping off her children at her ex-fiance Dale Smith's house back in 2011. That day she went missing was also the same day she and Smith appeared on a taped episode of People's Court, where they argued over a lost engagement ring.
they knew immediately something was wrong. And from that day forward, we had been working to try to locate her.
Smith quickly became a person of interest in the case, but now 10 years later, detectives say they're taking a step back.
We're looking at this case as a new open case, and as of right now, everyone is a suspect.
Michelle's family says they hope that fresh perspective and renewed focus on her case will help them find answers.
Is she gone? 99% chance she is, but there's that one little point where you have no body. And we want to have a place to go to remember her.
And they deserve that. They deserve to know where and what happened to Michelle. I agree. Sadly, she's probably deceased. But closure is a very big thing. And I cannot imagine. I mean, this is just another case that we talk about here all the time. It's a missing person, missing child. And the family has no answers. How can they come full circle and have some sort of... They just can't seal that in their hearts. And no, it's not going to make the pain completely go away. But knowing that they have her remains, if they don't have her alive, that's a very, very big deal. And I pray that Michelle's family and now her children, who are much older, 13 years older, that they get that closure very soon. So where do we stand on the case of missing mother Michelle Parker?
Michelle Parker, a mother of 3, was last seen on November 17, 2011. 13 years later, her family continues to look for her.
Yesterday, 13 years ago, she was alive and well and had hopes and dreams and, plans.
When it comes to the latest on Parker's case, her stepmom Gail says for the first time it's being taken over by Orlando Police Chief Eric Smith. She says they've worked with multiple detectives over the years.
That's the best you can do. I mean, there's no guarantees. And it's just amazing how somebody can make a person disappear and get away with it.
Police say Parker disappeared right after a People's Court episode ran where she discussed a lost engagement ring. On that day, she went to drop off her twins at her ex-fiancé Dale Smith's house. And that was the last time anybody had heard from her. Smith was named as a person of interest in this case, but no one has ever been arrested in connection to her disappearance.
I do what I can to, find her. Whatever part my God has put me in as a place in her life, I'm trying to follow through.
13 years later, Parker's family continues to keep her cold case relevant in hopes they'll get an answer.
I don't believe it's a cold case. I suppose there are some that believe it is. But her family's never given up on finding Michelle. And there's a lot of members of law enforcement, as well as the district attorney's office, that have refused to give up on bringing Michelle home to her family. There's no coincidences in crimes. There's no coincidences. The fact that that episode of the People's Court aired that day, where Michelle and Dale were fighting over the engagement ring, which they both basically won and lost, to me, that puts him definitely in the middle of my bullseye. And I look forward to seeing what Orlando Police Department can do with this case. And because 13 years is way too long. Let me know, you guys, if you would like me to continue to cover this one. Jennifer Kessie is another one that I need to do another update on. These two beautiful ladies, Michelle and Jennifer, being local to me, I remember seeing their faces all over. And you can't hide from that, and their families deserve the answers. They really, really do. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and most of all, stay safe.